Hi, I'm Terry Large, and at the moment, for my sins, I'm the chairman for the campaign for Falconry, and that is a standing subcommittee of the Hawk Board. And really, going back in time, our sport's been legislated many times, and under the Wildlife and Countryside Act, we've had to adapt and go for registration of the birds. We're getting the hunting regulations coming on, so we're always active in the political field and in the field of the CITES international legislation. So the campaign's role is to actually raise the funds to support the Hawk Board. But if we go back in time, something like about 25 years ago, we were a little committee that sat with the Old British Field Sports Society, and that inputted the representation for falconry to the governing bodies as the field sports were in them days. Then legislation was coming in to register such birds like this. Schedule 4 birds were going to become that we had to have rings, we had to have registration, we had to have special licenses. So the Hawk Board was created as a special body to negotiate with the government. In them days DOE, then it went to DETR, and now we're with DEFRA. And it's now at a level where every 3 months we sit at table with the clubs that 14 clubs that represent the club representation of the sport. Then there's zoological, then 6 elected people who are voted on by the falconry world, and then it's chaired by the chairman. We have a treasurer as normal. So their role is to put forward all the aspects of the falconry if there's going to be a legislation change or a new registration system coming in, like we're working on at the moment on the European CITES, the Article 10 certificate. So this takes money, and to have a committee and have a coordinator on salary, a PA officer on salary. So my job is to raise that money so that we've got the right funds there if we need. If we ever need to go to a stage where we've got to bring in a solicitor or a lawyer to back us on a meeting to go in a little bit heavier, which we did just recently, then you've got to have the funds there. So what we do each year, we have a special badge which we strike every year, and that badge has the year on it, and it has a falcon or a hawk, and that's part of our fundraise on that side. So if we got our representation there, 25,000 people involved in field sports, and if we could get them all to buy the badge at £3.50, we'd be well on our way to paying all our bills on there. But deeper down, we've now moved a little bit forward. The Hawk Board here, which is the group we've got, are working with DEFRA, working with the JNC, working with the Countryside Alliance and Field Sports there, and the other representations, working with FACE on the international side. We sit on FACE, and working with CITES. So quite a busy role there, but we've gone a stage further now. We're working with LAMTRA on the new qualifications of a basic qualification to bring people into the sport, that they approach it in the right way. Housing, transportation, the legislation, food, hygiene. There's 11 modules in it, and it goes as far as being able to fly the bird just to the fist, the basic side. And that's a voluntary thing, just exactly the same as in deer hunting. They brought in the 1 and 2 levels, young shots courses, and the safe shots courses with other groups. It's a foundation level to encourage people when they come into our sport that they get it right on that side. The birds now, some have been, after everything being totally regulated, now we've got certain birds that's been deregulated, brought down. So, but our hybrids of a peregrine, gyr, saker, anything of that line still need to be registered, and we're working on this CITES program, as I said at the moment, which is going to involve a new level of payment for the licenses. Backing us outside of the clubs, the individuals which come along, and in our sport it's quite an unusual feature. Out of those 25,000 people, as a statistic, we only have 10% which are actually in clubs. So we've got to meet those people, and that's our role at the shows, is to come out, bring the Hawk Board, the campaign to the shows, so we can talk to the people who don't have direct representation via their club rep to the Hawk Board. They hear something, they can go back, they can put it on their club website, they can put it on their club newsletter, they can bring it up at their monthly meeting, discuss it. He gets the feedback from his club and then comes back to the Hawk Board and then endorses or says, hang on, we're not interested in this is not the way we want to go with our club. So they have direct input, and then it's discussed, and at the end of the day we get a balanced decision. But trying to get the full representation when you've only got 10% of the falconry world in the club, so that's where the 6 voted individuals come in, so that we have a cross balance of the club people and the individuals. Within those 6 people are people who have specialist scientific knowledge, like Dr. Nick Fox, a biologist. So when you go to an international meeting and you're talking to the bird groups and the representation, they are sending scientific people. So it's no use sending someone like me, a politician basher, you know, a guy that just goes out, flies and enjoys using the birds for the sport in itself. You've got to send the technical delegates, the people with the letters behind the name, to match what's on the other side of the table there. But it's the oldest one, isn't it? It's something like 4,500 years old. Started in China. It's a living heritage. It's got art form. It's got its own language form. I've got a falcon on my hand here. It's hooded. It's hoodwinked. It could sit on a frame, and the frame is a cadge. The person carrying it is the cadger. Hence the expression, cadge a lift. We all like to drink. If they have a sip of water, they're bowsing, which has become boozing. Mantling over something when they catch it, the mantelpiece over the fireplace. And because of this historical interest in the sport, the next move outside is actually going to UNESCO and trying to bring on the sport as a historical heritage. So, a lot going on our side. But as the chairman and representing the Hawk Board here as a Hawk Board member, to all the other field sportsmen, what is there, something like 6 million of us involved in field sports, shooting, fishing, flying birds. We're only the small one, 25,000 people. But we say to everybody, and when we're in the arena, you most probably heard me say it, touch one, you touch us all. And that really is the thing. We stick together, we work together, and 6 million of us will make changes.